Today we're going to be making a spring topiary tree. This is a super easy craft anyone can do. I use largely just recycled materials. This is my topiary tree from last year and I'm just going to dismantle it. I'm just showing you that I do recycle and use most everything all over again. I'm going to be using 2 sizes of styrofoam balls for the topiary tree. I also bought some floral moss and some flowers from the Dollar Tree. So for my first topiary ball, I'm going to cover it with glue. I'm going to use a paintbrush and just spread it all over so the whole surface is covered, and then press on the moss. I worked on it a quarter of the ball at once. You can't do the whole thing or your glue will be too dry. And when there's a little gap or it lets go, just put in a drop of glue and press some more moss in that spot. We appreciate your support. Please hit like and subscribe and the little bell to see upcoming videos. So a little tip, should have done this first, and that is cut a hole down the center so I can mount it onto the trunk of the little tree. So what I'm doing is putting the knife straight down in every direction just to create a hole. Then push it down on your stick and very, very firmly, and don't worry if a little moss comes off, just add a little glue and press it on again. Let's start the next ball, and let's get it right this time and put a hole through the center of your ball before you start. Now, please be very, very careful. Press the blade down, but keep the sharp end away from you at all times. Never have a knife facing towards your hand or your body when cutting. And all I can say is please be very careful. I got these beautiful hydrangea branches from the Dollar Tree. And what I'm going to do first of all is pluck the flowers off the branch. Took about 1.5 stems of these hydrangea flowers to cover the ball. Now what I did is I plucked them off. There's no branch there, it's just the flower, and I just put a little dab of hot glue down and then just press the stem on it. Now it is raised slightly from the styrofoam ball. I didn't want it like pressed right against the ball. I wanted it to stand out and have some form and definition. Put the flowers quite close together. Make sure there's no gaps between the petals. Press down on the stem so you leave a little indent in the ball, and then put a dab of glue right there, and then you know you've got it in the right spot. And then you'll have to just hold it for a moment till it sets and then move on to the next one. It actually takes quite a while to do a ball, but it's kind of fun just to do it. Then find the hole underneath all the petals and just press it on. My little helper came to see what I was up to. I got this wreath. It's secondhand. It was just in a box of used items that somebody was giving away, so I just collected it. You can use any wood wreath that you like. This is a small wood wreath, and we are making a little bird nest. I'm just going to dismantle all the ribbons and everything, and then there's a branch that's wound around and around. So what I'm going to do is snip it and unwind that little branch. I'm going to use it again on another project. I'm going to keep it. And now I'm just going to fluff it up, pull it apart. I'd like it to be like 2-3 times bigger than it is and not so tight, and make it look more like a nest. So I need quite a firm bottom so that I can mount this on the top of the tree. So I'm just going to use some of this cardboard that's in black, and then that way you can't see it. So now I'm going to trim it down to size, and I decided to keep going smaller and smaller because I wanted it to be basically in the middle of the bird nest inside. I didn't want it to show, so it took a little work and just kept cutting it smaller, fluffing up the nest a little more, and then pushing it into the center. And then I just hot glued it in place because I wanted it to be very stable and firm. And then I put some hot glue on the bottom, and then I used all those scraps of moss and sticks that were laying there, and I basically covered the bottom. Then I turned it over and added some more of the sticks over there. I used all the scraps that were laying there, and then I added some moss as well. Then I worked my way around the outside in different layers. I would put just a drop of glue and pinch some moss in different spots. I didn't want to cover it entirely. I just want little hints of moss here and there throughout. I had some small eggs left over from our Easter egg topiary tree, so I'm just going to nestle them in there, and the scale worked out just perfect. And I'm just going to hot glue them in there. I'm actually going to put it outside on my front porch. And then there were these little white roses I had originally picked off this wreath, so I'm just going to tuck them in. There was just 2 of them, so I'm just going to add them. They were quite small, so I thought it would work, so I'm just going to glue them on. And I had these little pink flowers left over from a project from last year. So I'm just pushing them in pretty firmly into the nest, and it doesn't even need hot glue, I don't think. They're sticking pretty good, so just give them a good shove and they stick in there pretty well. And I also have this little bit of baby's breath, so I'm just going to tuck it in here and there as well. Just going to cut these little yellow, looks like little flower buds off the ends of this yellow branch, and I'm going to bend it rounded, and I'm also just going to shove it in as well. I wanted this nest to look very colorful and springy, and I think I achieved that look. And then I added on a few more bits of moss here and there. Picked up this little package of butterflies from the Dollar Tree. They are only one-sided, so what I did is I glued 2 the same together, and then that way it's double-sided. So once I pressed them together, then I just bent it in half and then bent the front wings a little bit upright, just to make it look a little more natural looking, and I'm just going to glue it onto the side of the nest. I thought that looked so cute, I'm going to do it again. So here, let's pick another set, matching on both sides, glue it together, bend it in half, and then I'm going to glue it onto the topiary moss ball. I need just a little something, and I think that's it. So you can see here, I left the moss ball pretty rough looking, and I like that. I want it to have a lot of texture and not be like, perfectly groomed smooth. So I like it the way it is. Okay, 3 times a charm. I decided I like it so much I'm going to make another one. And it's just so pretty. So I'm using this very, very pale blue one and gluing them together, bending them in half. And I'm going to glue them onto the little pail handle on the bottom level. And I just had this little Dollar Tree bunny left over from last year. So I'm just going to tuck it in the bottom. He's just so cute. And now let's glue on the bird nest. So this is exciting. I hope it holds, and it turns out it does hold pretty well. So just a big dollop of glue and hold the nest until it's set. I just pressed a little bit of moss in there to hide the glue, and it worked pretty well. Well, I think it's so sweet. I hope you like it too. Thanks for joining me today, and I hope you give it a try, and we'll see you next time.